Wake up and smother racism! Blinded eyes for the sheep's escapism. Trump for the neo-Hitler Nazism. Time to expose united fascism. Sleeping dogs lie about realism. Dream of nightmare for spookism. The truths they ain't facing them. Wake up and smother racism! Wake up!
Welcome to the world of justice and the racism fight.
Hey, it's Hallow'S Eve, hence the get up. I don't celebrate, but this is my only contribution, my cycling scarf, which is quite appropriate. It's got my colour coordination with the red hoodie and the red lights, and I have a red candle here, and I have my one of 5 selenite wands. Selenite is a crystal that dispels negative energy, so these are gorgeous. These are. You have to be careful not to get wet because they dissolve, so they're quite delicate things. I want to actually try and put these inside of wood, if I can carve out a cuboid shape in like a long twig, like a Harry Potter style, you know, sort of put it in like in a socket and create some kind of spiritual, energetic, magical wand, if you can, if you like. But yeah, since it's Hallow'S Eve, you can call me the alchemist today, or the concoctor. Actually, I like that, the concoctor. I concocted a nice little fish and veggie soup today. Oh, it went down well. It did. I can't even tell you how much stuff I put in there. A whole massive mackerel. Chopped the head off. Actually, I should have taken a picture because it was quite ghastly when you cut the head off and you look at the gills, and it kind of opens up like a shark mouth, and you see all these like teeth inside it. It's like the mackerel's got a second mouth under its gills. It's strange. And it's like, you know, sort of feathery around the side of the gills. Like the fish head's quite ghastly, but yeah, as I don't celebrate, I didn't take no pictures. I was too busy cooking. I was just multitasking everywhere. I've got a calamari tube in there, or cut up small bits. Again, aubergine and, you know, the usual onions and peas and garlic and mushrooms and stuff like that. I can't have fish soup and a can of vegetable soup, veg stock. Yeah, it was just Scotch bonnet, which I can still feel now. I've had one Scotch bonnet, and the soup was so large that I had to put it into 2 separate pots. So I've done one half today, and I'm doing another half when that finishes. I put the last of my plantain in there. Anyway, tonight is going to be like a video version. I should really intro. I'm not used to doing these. This is officially episode 1. I had a pilot episode a few weeks back. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's called a petition update, to do with Kirklees giving me an apology letter and a small financial compensation. So today I'm doing like a video version of a newsletter that I did 2 years ago. 2 years ago to the day, because it was for Halloween. And it was based on the N-word, which I kind of covered a little bit on the last episode. I would just say the N-word, but I know a lot of people get offended, so I'm going to break something down on top of the N-word. I'm going to break some definitions down from the newsletter from 2 years ago. So this is episode 1 of Wake Up and Smother Racism, and the theme today is Anti-Spookism. It's to take away the negative terms that have been instilled and conditioned into our brains from some terms, and also breaking down some of the relative terms. They all kind of go with black and spook, you know, because we used to get called spooks, right? And coons and all this kind of stuff. I mean, coon is still around today, but that's more for a panderer, a Caucasian panderer, someone who would dance and tap dance and do whatever for that the white man says, right? I despise those kind of black people. I really do. I mean, there's plenty about. I've worked with them, and I try to keep at distance. You know, I mean, they don't even realise what they're doing. It's self-hate and the conditioning they have. So, okay. So, and another thing is that October is, I don't know if it's Black History. I know America, because I'm so used to watching US TV. I know at some point, or I still do, I don't know. I don't pay attention to Black History Month because I know that everything started black. So black for me is all year round, right? The history of black is everywhere. It's everywhere where people don't realize where it is, right? So I don't pay attention to Black History Month. So I'm not sure if it's October for us or if it's October for the US. I know they have different months or different things for the same holiday. I mean, I don't celebrate my birthday and I'm 50 this year. So I'm not going to pay attention to something like Black History Month where I know that the world started as black and it's just been whitewashed and bleached throughout the centuries. The races, the Japanese, Chinese, everyone, it was all black, and it just got, you know, fairer and fairer and lighter through eugenics and people tinkering in science labs and whatever else, right, to try and get rid of us, right? So anyway, I'm going to start with the middle of this newsletter. So it kind of breaks down the N-word, right, which is kind of what I did in the last episode. So it says, according to the school system, the term the N-word is a curse word created by slave masters, which it is. The word wasn't created by them; they turned it into a slur, right? According to the science of etymology, which is the study of root words, right, the N-word, both versions, ER and A ending, and the term Naga, which is what I kind of tried to explain on the first episode, Naga, when I was talking about Starbucks, the mermaid, are all the same word in different dialects. All of them derive from the original Negas, Negas. Now, I think there's like a business corporation or something called Negas, but I don't know if it's AS or if it's US at the end, Negus. I don't know if it's a corporation or a hotel or something, a conference center or something like that. It's blue in the lettering, and I think it's got a red crown on it somewhere on one of those letters, maybe on a G in the middle or something, which makes sense because it continues on to say a royal title equivalent to king in East Africa, right? Its root is Naga, which I've just explained, Naga, which means serpent, as in the serpent people of Asia, right? And as I just said, the original Chinese, Japanese were all black originally, okay? Like even the Asian gods, you see they're blue and green and stuff like that. That's just different variations of us, yeah? So yeah, where would I go from there? Okay, serpent, yeah. I mean, the mermaid in Starbucks it's a black siren, which it's a naga. It's not actually a mermaid. It's just they've got a double fin. It's a kind of I guess you could say it's an amphibious creature, which are mermaids and scaly at the same time, right? Or either or both, right? I mean, fish scales are scales. They're just not quite reptilian scales. So I guess maybe it would depend on evolution of that particular naga or its native habitat, you know, whether it's more land-based or more sea-based. But I'm guessing with the tail, it's probably more sea-based. So yes, I'm going to continue now, and I've got 4 terms. One I've just mentioned, and 2 I've just mentioned actually, coon and spook. So it begins with coon and ends with spook. Yeah, so I'm just going to read from my newsletter that I had a couple of years ago. Okay, so these words, which will appear on this video when I edit it, you'll see that it's they have links on them, but obviously you can't click on the links. I would just say do your own research, type up these terms and see what comes up for you. Yeah. So coon, gollywog, spook, blackface, Darwinism, which we know what that is, and Homo sapiens sapien. These are links. And Robinson's, which is Robinson's Marmalade, which is part of Wake Up and Smell the Racism brand, yeah, with the little gollywog face in the center of Starbucks style logo that I have, which is down there somewhere. So coon, like the N-word that we've claimed back, coon means a black person who panders to the Caucasian agenda. You could say a tap dancing to the tune of the slave master, as in cooning, which you might hear in a lot of American TV, American entertainment, more so there because that's its origin. It's the American white slave master who actually coined us as coons, right? It's someone who serves the white person, the white agenda, the white slave master, right? These days, it's someone who's happily controlled by a white man for the the strings on the puppets, right? So I could continue on, but I'm going to be careful what I say, because I know a lot of truth speakers get in trouble. So I could start talking about Obama, right, and how he's controlled, but we all know all presidents are controlled, but he just happens to be, and he's not the first black president either. People think he's the first black president. We've had Abraham Lincoln. People don't realize he was actually black. There's others as well. Yes, when I say we, we're not living in the States, but it's a global thing where people know of Obama as the first black president, and no. I don't know if many people know, but presidents they're all cousins. The reason they apart from Trump is a businessman. He forced his way in there. He broke the system, which is why I think they always try to attack him and do certain things with him. But apart from Trump, they're all family related, all cousins, like distant, like third, fourth cousins or whatever. Obama as well, because don't forget Obama's mixed race. Is one of his parents is African and the other is Caucasian. So. And by the way, when I read off these definitions, these are kind of my own definitions. They're not, or they may be a merge of mine and what you might find in a dictionary or something. So, as I say, do your own research and see what comes up for you, yeah? A lot of these links are from Wikipedia, but, people don't like Wikipedia for various reasons. People can write whatever they want, but I know if something sounds correct to me, then my intuition is going to say, well, yeah, that sounds correct to me, just from my own knowledge. But if I don't know something completely, if I'm completely ignorant to something, I won't rely on Wikipedia for it. Okay, so the next one is gollywog, right? Which is the centerpiece of the logo that I have here. And it's part of, it's like a black doll, right? Back in the day. Yeah, like a black plush doll with, just jet black, white eyes, as the logo is, and sort of like sad sack, sort of little short rasta hair, not dreads, but because it was plush, it's kind of like thin rope, but that doesn't mean it doesn't matter. It's just basically it's just a black face, like a black emoji, really. So yeah, plush dolls and cartoon propaganda based on the minstrel tradition. Now, minstrel is those tap dancing guys I was mentioning earlier. So it all links together, and kind of like as time goes on, things adapt and change, and propaganda kind of influences the past and the future, right? So the minstrel guys were the ones with the paint white. They're like clowns, basically, which they are. Coon and clown. That's funny how they're similar words as well, right? So yeah, they're the guys that tap dance and shock and jive for the white man with their kind of like Black Charlie Chaplin with the hats and their canes, but they had white painted around their mouth and eyes like clowns, right? Or red, I think, around the lips. I can't remember if it was red or white, but I know they had white around the eyes and other red or white paint around the lips, around the mouth. And then that went into the gollywog, right, as I was saying. So to the actual tangible puppet doll or whatever. So it says most famously known for Robinson's marmalade, right? I think before they axed that, before they got rid of the gollywog, and it's just Robinson's on its own brand at some point. Which gave rise to the misappropriated blackface racism, right? Okay, so there's not much more to say about that, really. Apart from that, up to this day, people still think it's funny to, non-black racists will think it's funny to tar themselves black or paint whatever they feel black and whatever, and just have their excuse for racism to get their projected racism off their chest, right? I think there was something in the States quite recently about that, where someone actually did that quite recently, and they always tried to switch it around, like just to say a black person wearing whiteface is the same thing. No, it's not, because obviously historically, blackface means something. Historically, switching it around doesn't mean anything, because we can't get away with it. We don't have the privilege of white people just by painting their face white. You guys have the privilege of having your your racism accepted, you know, which it is. Great, the government elite have made it acceptable to be racist, sorry, and people like Trump and Elon Musk and Nigel Farage and Keir Starmer and Piers Morgan and all the rest of them, right? They empower. They're on TV all the time and they empower these racists. Tommy Robinson, that's not his real name, if you didn't know, but this is why racism now is all out in your face, because of these people, these figures that make it publicly accepted to be racist. So we'll go on to the next word, which is monkey. We all know what a monkey is, right? But it's funny, again, this is inverted. This is a real case of inversion, because the darker races was here first. So we come from a Homo sapien. We didn't come from a monkey or ape or gorilla, right? And in actual fact, if you do your actual research, you'll know that Caucasians are the closest ones that will come from different parts of animal. I'm sorry to offend anyone, but it's the truth. Okay, so I don't apologize for the truth. Right? I take my apology back, but I know people will be offended because they can't stand when they have their cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is when they have it challenged. You know, when you've been taught something for centuries and decades has passed through your family, and when you have the complete opposite, the truth, been delivered to you, it completely it short circuits your system, right? So I think it's there's different types of simian, different types of monkey, right? Gorilla, ape, chimp, you know, gibbon, orangutan, whatever else, right? Now I know they don't have the same skin tone, but if you shave the majority of these animals, you'll see the true skin complexion is pink flesh, like the Caucasian. So this is another thing where we've been trained to accept and only consider the outer shell, the outer exterior, right? So because these monkeys have they get sun, all their dark, it's dark on the outside, dark face and darkness in it. It's just, again, climate, right? And they're hairy, dark hairy, right? But as I said, if you shave them, you'll see that all that's underneath is hidden. It's like pigskin, really, right? So yeah, there's some harsh truth for anyone who doesn't realize that on the non-white races, okay? And it's another reason why, not so much nowadays, but I've been around 50 years, so I remember, artistic mind remembers things. I remember in the newspaper, on the TV, you used to see white people giving birth to multiple kids at the same time. And that's what animals do, right? Animals have litters, right? What people don't realize is that our blood's been tinkered with. We didn't all have the same blood. The black woman was the first creature on the earth. Which is why we can have so much diverse blood types. Which is why they like to harvest our cells and blood and organs and everything else, because it's diverse. It has the most chance, the opportunity to do anything else with other races. Yeah, I don't have a script, so I just kind of go with what my jumbled up mind comes off with, yeah, and I just kind of deliver it to you, so do bear with me. Monkey, selective Darwinism. Yeah, so obviously in sport or race, you know, footballers particularly, you get the monkey chants or the monkey sound effects, or just say monkey blatantly. And as I said, we live in an inverted world. So us black should not accept that. We should laugh at it, really, because if these black people knew who they actually were, they'd realize that they came from deities, gods, and kings, not from animals. So as I said, that's where I was going. The blood. So O, A, and B, that all comes from the black originator. Now, the original Caucasians, before they siphoned off of black, their blood was RH, yeah, which is animal blood, yeah, animal DNA. I believe the word animal is a portmanteau between Anunnaki and mammal. Anunnaki is where I would say the blacks come from, and mammals are animals. And So you get that's the way my brain works. Is Anunnaki and mammals is equals animals, which is why humans are called animals. They've degraded us to be animals because they've merged us with them, even though they don't want us to be. It's so deep on a psychological level. There's so many ways they're secretly merging us together, but then superficially out in the propaganda world, they want us to be separate, right? I mean, one point in time, they didn't want us to marry, did they? They didn't want blacks and whites to marry. Now, all you see on TV is the white man with the black woman, because that's what they want. They want to take everything from the black woman. That the black man's never in the picture. There's never any black male representation, and if he is, they're trying to make him gay, which is again their culture. It's Greco-Roman culture. This is European culture, homosexuality. Speaking of Homo sapien, right? So what people don't realize is that as it says here, Caucasians accept it. Why? This is selective Darwinism I've put here. This is my own little wording. So selective Darwinism. If Caucasians accept Darwinism, why is it emphasized towards blacks? It's a double standard. We're all from Homo sapiens. The problem is we don't realize there are different types. This is the lack of ignorance that they bank on. There's different types of Homo sapiens. There's not just DNA. There's phenotypes. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I know that I've heard these terms and words in relation to human biology, DNA, genetics, things like that, right? The black people, we are genetically dominant, which is why any mixed race with black in it is called black, because black is the dominant race, yeah? And there's something called the one drop rule as well, which is, I think, something to do with if a person has one drop of blood, one drop of black blood in their body, then they're considered black. And that, again, that just confirms what I was saying about the black being dominant race. If you all it takes is one drop of black blood to dominate the body, because it's we are genetically dominant. The Caucasian race is genetically recessive, which is why they fear they have to counteract their dying numbers. They have to clone themselves. All the scientists are cloning and making test tube babies. And this thing with the transgender, like, you can't make a baby with anyone that's transgender. So, and anyone who's homosexual, two men and two female don't make life. It's anti-life. So you have to have, you have to have the sperm and the egg, right? And it's so yeah. Cloning's been going on for I can't even tell you. I mean, I can't tell you exactly when, but I know cloning's been going on for ages. I'd say, I'm sure they publicly advertised it when I was alive, when I've been in my lifetime. I'm sure they've advertised something about genetic cloning, maybe 20, 30 years ago, or longer. Which is why I think all these people in Hollywood, like, you don't get any family names. I mean, we know they're all stage names, Tom Cruise, Kidman. All these were Satanists with stage names, with certain words that give off negative energy, yeah? So they use there's something called gematria, which is the value of letters into numbers. And so each letter of the person's name will give off an energy, which is like numerology. Like when you take your name and you take each letter and you give it a numerical number, numerical value. So A would be 1, B would be 2, and so forth, yeah? And you get to double numbers, you put them two together until you get a single number. Then you'd add them all up together. It gives off a certain energy, right? And that's what they do. They make these words, they make these names and apply them, which is why a lot of them are very similar in Hollywood, and there's something to do with the letter K. That's why they've got KKK as well, Ku Klux Klan. Something to do with the letter K. I'm not quite sure, because I know it's because it's one of the silent letters, which is a mystery in itself. And that then goes into the Knights Templar. Knight, K being silent. Knights Templar is a very racist regiment, right? That Red Cross, again, the Red Cross. See how these things link? Red Cross, St. George, Red Cross, British Cross, the charity. Like, people have to really put the pieces of the puzzle together to see what's going on and stop taking things for separate face value, because they're not separate. These things are all linked. If you look at the Resident Evil with the theme of Halloween, if you look at the Resident Evil umbrella logo, it looks like the Maltese cross. if you stop looking at it as a top view umbrella with the red and then the white, yeah, it looks like an umbrella. But actually, you take away the white and you'll see that it's a Maltese cross. It's just designed with a acute center and a obtuse end. All right, more obtuse and more acute in the center, and more obtuse at the end. The cross on the Ku Klux Klan is just a red cross with like a serif at each end, and it's sort of parallel, right? But these are just different variations of the same thing, right? And that's how they, with the Resident Evil thing, that's how they still project the same negative energies and try and fool us with it. Some people are aware. I'm aware of it. I've been on Resident Evil since I was in my 20s, early 20s, when I was in university. So, I wasn't aware of what it meant then, but with me being a qualified graphic designer, I can look at logos and they stick in my mind. And then I think, hold on a minute. I look at the Maltese cross, I look at the Ku Klux Klan cross, I look at Red Cross, I look at the St. George's flag. There's a connection. There can't not be a connection, right? You just have to do the research for yourself and stop letting the government fool you to think that's something innocent. It's not. Most people don't even know that St. George's flag is not. It's not a white representation. Nothing ever is. It's just white always adopt things. St. George was a Palestinian guy, so he looked like what you might see as a Pakistani guy around here with dark, maybe curly hair as well. He might even have even curly hair. So I guess he was more black than white. So black sort of loose curls and tanned skin, like you might see the Pakistanis and the Muslims, Asians, and that. So if they knew that, I don't think they'd be so proud to fly it and put it up everywhere. This is just propaganda that the government will put on as an exterior to say, well, yeah, you can be racist and you can use this identity and you can. It's like St. George is not a white man. So, oh god, it's crazy. So yeah, we'll come from Homo sapiens sapiens, and there's different types, right? I don't claim to know the types, but I know that blacks were the first on this universe, and I've said in a previous episode here that Caucasians are anywhere from 400 to 4,000 years old. They're not been around that long. As I said, the reason the white elite is creating such a powerful racist stance is because they know that they're genetically recessive and they're dying out. That they fake numbers on news. So, and even with the COVID thing, they fake numbers, and they create all these diseases to target indigenous people, and it kind of backfires on them really, because we are stronger to fight off things than they are. So their numbers dwindle, and the more you mix, the more you're pushing out the white blood cells, because it's recessive. It's not dominant enough. It's the least dominant. I mean, how can it be? How can the white people think they're the dominant race when they start wrinkling by the time they're 30? Like, I'm 50. And people look at me and don't understand how I'm 50. They said, you're not 50. I said, yeah, do you want to see my birth certificate or passport? Do you know what I mean? I'm born in 1975 in December. Actually, on the winter solstice. Which is a special birthday in itself. A special date of... They put Christ around that time of year, right? But anyway, that's another podcast. That's another episode. So, okay, we'll move on to the last final word, spook. All right, being Halloween, spooky. Oh, what's spooky? Now they call us a spook. Again, that goes back to the gollywog. Like, it's like a reverse skull. The skull is like white face with the black sockets, and this here, right? So, and even this looks like a inverted smile here, right? Like the clown when you paint the clown face. So with the coon, it's white. So like I said, it was either white or red around the lips, and white sockets, and even white on the nose as well. It's almost like mimicking African war paint as well, I find, and turning it into some kind of clownish, coonish thing, right? So, yeah. So we at one point in time we used to be called spooks. Now this has gone into definitions, different dialects of the word spook. So the word is from Dutch spook, from Middle Dutch spook, which is S-P-O-O-C, which you'll see when I put it up on my editing, and spook, which is spelled another way to spell S-P-O-O-C-K-E. A spook, a ghost, from a common Germanic Germanics. I've had some beer to drink and I don't drink. So my words are backwards and inverted and all over the place, and I blame the beer that I'm drinking. Okay, I'm not advertising it. So yeah, from a Germanic source, and in parentheses it's got German spook, which is like, or spook, which is S-P-U-K, ghost, apparition, hobgoblin, and then Middle Low German Spock, not Star Trek, but well, I say Spock because it's only got one O, but S-P-O-K, and then it's got spook afterwards and spelt normally, which is S-P-O-O-K. And then Swedish, you see all these European dialects have adopted this spook word and made it in their dictionary to mean whatever. Swedish is scarecrow, Spock, again, S-P-O-K, scarecrow, again, the scare theme, right? We're all scary. Look, Scary Spice, the only black girl in Spice Girls. What was she? Scary Spice. And she's barely black. I mean, like, you know, she's kind of light skinned or mixed race or whatever case may be, but which is the only form of acceptable black, isn't it? Even back then to nowadays. Yeah, I've completely messed up my mask, but anyway. And Norwegian, is that Spiok? Is that S-P-J-O-K? I'm guessing that the J is like yeah, so like Spiok. Ghost, spectre. And the Danish, I don't know how you pronounce that because the O's got the strike through it, so that's an accent of some kind. So, and it's G as well, so S-P-O, looks like the planet Saturn, which is for another podcast, another episode. S-P-O-G, Spog, or however you pronounce that O in Danish. Spug, and it says joke next to it. So we've gone from something scary to something jovial and something not serious, a joke, something to take the piss out of, right? So, okay, so those are my 4 breakdowns of the connected racist anti-spookism words. I'm trying to break things down. I'm trying to take away the spookism, if you like, the stigma. So coon is still a word that we use now for, like I say, the black man, black person who panders, who's happy to be slaved by the white person. Yeah, gollywog is a tangible object. It's another slur, wog for short. And I don't know when people use the word golly, like golly gosh. I think that's something to do with it as well. Like people now are still using golly gosh. I'm like, it's kind of like a golly gosh is kind of like a certain class of people, I think, isn't it? It sounds quite posh. Posh is golly gosh. Golly gosh. You know, a certain frame of mind of people. You know, a certain, like I say, a certain class. But they wouldn't care if they came across racist anyway, would they? I don't know. So yeah, it's funny you can break gollywog down into just wog or tar baby, right? And golly gosh, like, you know, I will try and pick people up. If I hear someone say it in front of me, I will try and pick them up and educate them and say, like, first of all, could you not use golly gosh in front of me because it reminds me of gollywog. Right? I mean, it even rhymes. Gollywash, gollywog, sorry. Golly gosh. Monkeys, everyday animal, but there's different types of animals, different types of species of monkey, simian. I think the gibbon is mainly where the Caucasian bloodline comes from. I think what I mean is it's fused with taking the human anatomy from the black person and merged it with the monkey or the gibbon, yeah, and monkey business, which is why fellatio, sucking someone's cock, is monkey business. That's what monkeys do, and it's part of their culture. You see, these things all connect if you know your history, if you know who you are, and if you know who other races are and where they've come from. Because, as I say, blacks are the creators, so we should know this, and we should know that things are taken from us and adapted and whitewashed and bleached and phased out and however you want to put it, right? So yeah, it's no coincidence that Halloween and Black History Month are the same. as I said at the beginning of the show, that I'm not sure if in the US if it's October. I think it might be February actually, because I think they complain that it's the shortest month. And February is the shortest month, apart from the leap year month, which is just on the other day, but it's still the shortest. It's 29 days. Usually it's 28, right? So I think theirs is February and ours is October, but October is obviously Halloween month as well, right? So again, they've tied black with spook. It's not a coincidence, right? These things it's all for a reason, okay? Yeah, I've written about the US natives keep the illusion that black people are cursed, second-class citizens, and it's all an inversion, because really when they project stuff on us, they're really talking about themselves, you know, about us being three parts humans. Again, what did I just say to you about them siphoning off of black and fusing with the monkey? So that means if they're accusing us of being three parts human, three-fifths human, that means that they are 2-part animal and 3/5 human. The Caucasians are 2 parts gibbon, monkey, simian, whatever you want. Yeah, from the ape family, and 3 parts us, 3 parts black. There's a series of AI videos going out now, where they say white people are furious about learning the truth about what AI is saying about black people, that we're the first here and we're the most closest to divine and all this, which is the truth. You know, they again, cognitive dissonance. They're really upset at they've been lied to, and they project it on us. We didn't lie to them. We didn't tell them this. Point your anger at your forefathers, not your educators, your family who's been lying to you for centuries, the Nazi people on the TV. Point your anger towards them. It's easier to point it towards us because we're always the scapegoats and fall guys. It's harder to go back to your parents and the people that have educated you, the school system and whatever else. You don't want to stand up to those people, though, do you? Because you think you're one of them. It's not about, that's the trick as well. You're not one of them just because you share the same skin color. Just like I'm not part of any coonery or any, do you know what I mean? Just because not all skin folk is kinfolk, is a saying that's in the conscious community. Just because you share the same skin color doesn't mean we're family or we're brothers, you know? The government wants to separate our classes when we should all be attacking them and putting our anger towards them. The power is in the people. If you knew how much power you had, if you made conscious decisions to stop consuming from all these corporations, if you stop spending on them, they'd fall in an instant, which is why a lot of these things are falling now, or have been falling for the last decade or so. Look how long these shops on the high streets have been going into administration. It's been happening for about 15-20 years, isn't it? If people stop spending, they can't do anything. They keep spending overheads and not making nothing back. And everything transfers to online, or another bigger company buys them out, or they merge and stuff like that. Little things happen behind the scenes which we don't know about. I'll give you a classic example, like Unilever. They cover everything: Colgate, Palmolive, Sara Lee. Like, there's so much that they cover, and you think these are all separate companies. They're not. They're all under Unilever. If you just do your research and type in, you know, what companies the Unilever have or control, you see a long list of them. Like Coke and Schweppes, they're the same company. Coke and Schweppes deal with all the liquids, right? All the it's, people think they're buying. It's just different. It's just flavored, carbonated. Was it high fructose corn syrup, right? And anything to do with corn, anything made from corn, you shouldn't be consuming. Why do you think they use the word corny for fake? Because anything that's come from corn is fake food. It's genetically modified, or it's like gunk, goop, plastic, metal stuff. It's just, and people want to know why they're swelling up, and they can't get rid of it. It's not fat. It's just some of it is fat, but not all of it. It's just inflammation, plastic and metals and stuff that the body doesn't know how to do with. It just sits in your gut, sits in your lining and your intestine and everything. And and people want to know why they do exercises or do this diet and it won't go, because it's the government's tricked you. The food agencies have tricked you. There's drugs in the food. I mean, look at McDonald's and all the rest of it. I was going to a town the other day and the McDonald's is packed. I'm like, these people don't know what they're consuming. People have got no memory, or they've just got no knowledge of they're eating plastic food and fake food that doesn't rot and decay when you leave it out in the air, you know, in the open. If food doesn't rot and decay, it's not natural, right? And people love to think that seedless grapes are a convenience. Well, they may be convenient, but not to your body. They're not, because if you consume anything that doesn't have a seed, it's not natural. Anything that has a seed has come from something natural, right? So because people come up to spit out seeds and take out seeds, oh my gosh, you'll never catch me dead buying anything seedless. I mean, I've got something on my YouTube that says no GMO because I'm anti-GMO. I'll have it at the very least. I may have a bit of rice or a bit of pasta or a bit of bread or something. Starchy food. All them starchy foods are no good. Again, all those white foods. I won't go into that anyway. Yeah, we're talking about spookism and coon and N-words and stuff like that in this episode. So, right, it's coming up to 45 minutes now. So I'm going to stop because my last episode was 45 minutes. I didn't want to go this long, but as someone who's neurodivergent, I kind of go off into tangents and, you know, go in different forks and different directions and things like that, right? So the end of this newsletter says, so the next time you see anything reptilian, Atlantean, Medusa-like, or even dragons, which is actually proof of it's dinosaurs are not dinosaurs, as I've got here, which actually have more proof of existence than dinosaurs. So yeah, dragons have more proof. Again, they try and make that mythological. I think anything they try to phase out has come from black. So I know the first, there's a link between the first black, Grimaldi had a dragon logo or something like that. So yeah, I've got to try and perfect my notes on that and maybe present it to you. So I'll say it says here, try to challenge the academic doctrine we've all been programmed with. Yeah, this is just my words that I've got at the end of the newsletter. Turn your instilled fear into free thinking inquisitiveness. We live in an inverted world and have a coded Germanic language forced upon us. Always learn the root words behind what we've been conditioned with. And it ends with Happy Halloween. So actually there's a PS as well. Dispel the mystery. A myth is simply the original black truth sprinkled with white lies. This is just me playing with words, yeah, me trying to be poetic. And I've got whitewashing in parentheses, right? So that concludes episode 1 of Wake Up and Smell the Racism, right? I have been Professor Concoction today. And I know I should do these episodes more regularly, but I get bogged down with so much other work, and sometimes I procrastinate and I get in a low mood. This week I've not slept properly at all. Today's Friday night, being Hallow'S Eve. Since Monday night, funny enough, since the clock's gone back, I've not been able to sleep properly. And I didn't point that out. It was only when I went to a meeting yesterday at the media centre. He said, when I said to him I've not been sleeping properly, I said, do you find that it's since the clocks went back? And I thought, hold on a minute, you might be onto something, because the clocks went back on Sunday, and since Monday night I've got up before sunrise. I've woken up and it's still dark, and then I'm trying to sleep and I can't sleep because my artistic mind is playing, or I've got to go toilet, or something wakes me up, you know, or my phone stops playing nature sounds, stops playing white noise, and the silence will wake me up with that, because the noise in my head needs to be distracted by me playing something on Spotify, you know, which is usually white noise. The phone dies and the battery is so crap. Got to get a new battery. Or I'm just going to have to start using my tablet, I think, but that battery's screwed as well. It's not as bad as the phone, of course, but the phone is over 3 years old. The tablet's 6 months old or something. So but I've always got a habit of overcharging, leaving it. I forget that it's charging the whole night when I'm sleeping, and then obviously it's screwed by the time I wake up. So okay, so I will bid you all a good night, and if you are going to go trick-or-treating, well, you've already been, because this is Halloween, it's Hallow'S Eve night. I hope you haven't brought any contaminations or any germs from people, because people don't have to wash their hands, right? I won't say which race don't have to wash their hands. I mean, black people taught Caucasians how to wash in the first place. and they're trying to tell us that we're dirty and filthy and stink and all this kind of stuff. When the French had to make cologne, they'd rather go through the process of making cologne to cover their stink and funk rather than doing a simple act of washing. And even nowadays, the American TV that I watch is that there's a thing going around that white people don't wash the lower half of their body, like their legs or whatever. It's like, they always make excuses for why you shouldn't wash their kids and all this kind of thing. You want to know why all these diseases and shit are going around, and they're blaming indigenous people for it. It's crazy. As I say, if you see through the lies, like I do, I see through the propaganda and the bullshit, because that's just who I am. I detest deception. You get to see the kind of world we live in, and it depresses me even more. It's like the more I know, the more I get depressed, and the more I don't even want to live on this world. But I'm trying to stay. People who know that I have tried to commit suicide 6 years ago, and I'm trying to stay away from the path, but I got attacked 2 years ago, which kind of put me on a destructive path. I was destructive before then, and let myself go and be depressive and all this, but I'm trying to put my energy into focusing into battling the system and fighting these racial injustices and the institutional failures that I constantly face. So yeah, if you are celebrating, have fun, stay safe.